Hello, loves. Welcome back to the Eleshia Show. This episode is going to be epic because it is our 100th episode of the Eleshia Show. And I am here with the amazing Anne, that if it wasn't for her and her team, the podcast would probably not have worked out so smoothly. With me being just a solo entrepreneur and a mother and a wife and a carer, you all know my story. It would have been hard for me to juggle the editing and the promotion and all of the things that happen in the background without Anne and her team. And so I am super excited to have Anne here with us today because I just want to celebrate you as much as we are celebrating the 100th episode, because this is so poignant in the fact that we have come. I know, crying. Cry. It's okay. I am close.
I'm too invested in this.
Right?
I'm so sorry, guys.
No. This is the thing. Like on this virtual couch, this is what happens. But we are celebrating together, Anne, because it's not just my podcast.
I love what you said. I was so touched by what you said.
Yeah, it's not just my podcast.
Yeah.
It's not just my podcast. It is our podcast. We have worked on this tirelessly for 2 years. And so I just want to thank you and your amazing team. And we did it. When we started, do you remember when we first had our conversation? I think it was like end of February
2021.
2021. Right? And I was like, I want to do this podcast. And here's the thing, I've done a podcast course, but I can't do it myself. And so before we even get into that conversation, and will you tell the listeners who you are and a little bit about your company?
Thanks. So again, my name's Anne and I'm from the Philippines. I have been privileged enough to be introduced to the wonderful Eleshia through a client of ours as well, who is her client too. So, that's the beauty of business and networking. You never know who you're going to meet. So our sincerest thanks actually to have this opportunity to produce your show. So I do have a digital marketing agency. We call ourselves Dklutr. So we're Team Dklutr. Actually, I started out as a VA in 2017. And then at the height of the pandemic, Carl, Ron, and I formed a small outfit of a podcast management services that now evolved into, I'd really say, a creative suite. Like it's a full suite of marketing, digital services. So I like to say to clients that we're a team of creatives that help our clients declutter their workflow so that they get to do the things that they love the most. So like in Eleshia's case, I know that she loves recording. She loves reaching out to guests, and you're brilliant with your interviews and your solos. So she's A++ on the interviews and solos recording. But of course, the legwork is really, how do you say it? Some people make a mountain out of a molehill. Is that the right idiom? Right?
Yeah, yes. And when I tried to record and then edit my first episode, I was like, I'm not about this life.
That's true. Like we have met so many clients that were almost about to give up. But when they met us, even if it was just the three of us back then, they realized that, I don't really have to do everything, or at least any part of the podcast process on my own. You can just go run with it, record, do your thing, and then leave the rest up to, your service provider. In our case, it's Team Dklutr. So yes.
And I love that because it feels like magic sometimes. It feels like I just record, as you say, and then I send you guys the file, and then all of the editing is done for me, and then I do final edits. And I know that, remember when I first started, I wanted to edit from the get-go. I was like, I'm going to do all of the edits from the beginning to the end. And then you had to say to me, Eleshia, like, that's not what you have to do. That's what my team and I do. And so we've been able to streamline that, where I do final edits, because again, I am so invested in my podcast show that I like to listen to every episode before it goes out. That's just who I am. And I don't know if that's how everybody does it, but that's who I am. And I love that I get to listen and really get engaged in that conversation again. And so thank you. Just thank you for being the amazing, CEO that you've been, and the fact that you have been able to expand your business over the course of the last 2 to 3 years is amazing as well. And that's all because of who you are as a businesswoman.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm still not yet used to hearing that, but every time people show praise my way, I always take it as an opportunity as well to put the spotlight on the team.
Yes.
First of all, to Carl, and then to Ron, and then to Vince and the rest of the team, because without them, this wouldn't even be possible. Probably by now, I'm still all by my lonesome, handling clients on my own. So as I really share this success, all the praises I always give to them and share to them, because they're such an amazing team to work with. And we always hear clients say how it's such a relief. It really boosts their confidence because they know that somebody has their back. And that's really what the kind of peace of mind, the kind of assurance that you want our clients to have, that, you can sleep and then wake up knowing that, boom, your episode is going to be live on Apple and Spotify. And in your case, YouTube.
Right, right. Oh, she just gave a little spoiler there.
Oh, no.
Yes. No, I love it. I love it. I love it. So that is our next space that we're going to dive into. And I wouldn't have done that without the push from you and the team. You have been telling me to do this for quite some time now. I think it's been over 6 months, if not longer.
Yes.
And it's me who's been the bottleneck. And this is the whole reason why I wanted Anne on the show as well, because some of the time when you are a solopreneur, you can be bottlenecks in your business. And I've said this countless of times, I would not be able to do this without my team. So when Anne says she is giving all her gratitude back to her team, I understand that, because there's been times when I've been sick or Alessandra has been sick. And when we started, Alessandra was tiny. She was she was small. And so I knew that I couldn't have all of the balls juggling. And also I wouldn't have been able to scale my business. I wouldn't have been able to expand out to YouTube, or to ensure that each and every week we've been able to publish an episode. The amount of episodes shows you 100 episodes over 2 years.
Yes.
Means that we've only missed realistically like 4 weeks.
Right.
Crazy.
Yes. You're very good with your math. You're precise. 52 weeks times 2 is 104.
Right?
Amazing.
So, I mean, there's been times where we've done 2 episodes per week, or when we started, we did a few episodes to get people really in the groove of listening to the podcast. But we have been steady and consistent and visible for the last 2 years. That's credit to all of us. So yes, I want you to be thankful for your team, but without a good leader, that wouldn't have happened either.
Thank you.
But can you just,
yes,
can you just,
I will. Yeah, I will take that. But as you were talking, another thing popped into my head. And again, I just want to take this time again, because this is my second time to be on a show, but this is actually my third time, because I had a first attempt last year that I wasn't able to go through it. It was like a cry fest. And it was also with a dear client. And I ended up backing out while we're on the middle of the episode. And why am I saying this? I just realized that I have very high respect for people like you, like podcasters, YouTubers, social media, people, influencers. It's not the easiest thing to put yourself out there, to share your story, to share your message, to share your mission. There are days that you don't even feel like getting up, putting on the mic, recording. And for you to do it 100 times, I mean, that is just, I take your compliment, but I also give it to you. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
So now I cry. Okay, because I think people don't really recognize that sometimes, and they don't recognize that I do this for the love of it, but I'm also doing it like this is self-funded, Yes. I have no sponsors at the moment. I'm not monetizing the podcast. When I decided that I wanted to do a podcast, it was because I wanted my own seat at my own table. I wanted to be able to say what I wanted to say without anybody putting any stoppers. I didn't want anything that I said to be filtered. And so that's one of the reasons why it's called the Eleshia Show, right? Because it's truly about what I stand for and the people that I intentionally sought out to be on the podcast. And that to me has been so thrilling and also scary. And it has been such a big part of my growth journey, because a couple of years ago, I would never have done this. What? Eleshia pick up a mic and be in front of a screen and talk to the world? Because, hey, we've been listened to in over 54 countries now and 871 cities, I believe, at this time. And so this is a big deal. Like, it's not that I'm just doing this out of my bedroom and nobody is hearing it. I put myself out there from the get-go. And so the reason why I say this is because if I didn't have people around me that really believed in what I was doing and what I was saying, and, the amazing, amazing listeners who DM me and email me and, share the show, then I wouldn't have always had that energy or that focus or that excitement to do it. But we're out here changing lives, Anne, because of the fact that we're being vulnerable. So you saying that you didn't want to do this and you were scared to do this, but you're still doing it because you're showing up, like, gratitude to you.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
You said something actually that struck me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to emphasize this as well. You said that there were so many amazing people that send you DMs or reach out to you, sharing how an episode or two or a guest testimonial changed their life. And honestly, that is one of the best, I would say, result or impact that you'd want from a podcast. Not even, of course, downloads and, monetization would be great. It's great. But knowing that you're actually impacting someone else's life, that, you have a direct impact, even if you haven't met that person physically, we have clients who really yearn for that kind of engagement. Like, I just spoke with someone a few days ago and she told me that I want to hear from my audience. I want to get reviews. I want to know how. So the fact that you are organically getting these kinds of feedback says a lot about the show.
Yeah.
And your mission and your voice and your message.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. That makes me, I've got all of the feels. Because like I said, it wasn't about money to start off with. It wasn't about downloads. It was more purely because I was going through different situations throughout my life and I wanted to share because I knew that I wasn't the only one. And so, from that perspective, it was very, very key for me to be able just to focus on that and not then focus on everything else. And as we go into the second year, oh my gosh, I can't believe that we're saying this, like, second year, and second year. As we go.
No, not second year, but like second 100 episodes, probably.
Yes.
Because you're going to be doing this for 2 years now, like, because it's April, but to be going on your next 100 episodes.
Yes. So to continue to go forward, like, I have so many plans. And this is what I love about our relationship. It's not just about the service that you provide. You and your team are always thinking about other avenues that I can tap into. We strategize. We think about how I can grow as a podcaster, but also as a business owner. So you said it the other day in one of our meetings. We're in a partnership with this. It's not just that you are part of my editing team. No, we're in a partnership because we both see the value of being female entrepreneurs who can help each other to build their businesses. And this is key for me from a perspective of everybody that is in my community, in my business growth community now. I want them to win. And so let's go back to the fact that you said that in 2017, you were the VA, and then you pivoted and decided to build out your agency. And now you are helping lots of people publish their podcasts. How did you grow so quickly?
So thank you for that question. It also got me to thinking, and it's always great to travel back or journey back to
Mhm.
where you started because it makes you grateful. And at the same time, you are able to celebrate the moment and
Yeah.
celebrate how far, I'd say that, how far you'd come. So, how did we grow so quickly? Honestly, it was just us always giving our best, and we got referred by client, by client, by client. You are a perfect example, actually. And the client who referred you was also part of another class that we were referred to.
Mhm.
So, not to brag, honestly, but our
Yes.
client base has been like 98% referrals. I only
Yes.
marketed Honestly, yeah, I only marketed like once or twice, and out of those, I didn't get any
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Our batting average is really on the referral side, and we always celebrate how we are referred to by our clients because
Yes.
their messages, the way they talk about us, it's just so heartwarming. At the same time, it's the most fulfilling thing, and we as a team, we always celebrate that. But I would say there were qualities that we really held on to. We use them as our core values, which is we make it a point that we have high attention to detail.
Yes.
We always go the extra mile for our clients. We make it work. We just make it work, even though at times, of course, when you peek behind the curtains, you'll see
We're all
the
scrambling.
chaos. Yes, the chaos. But what's beautiful about the dynamics of our team is we found a group of people who really love what they're doing. They eat, breathe, and sleep declutter. And we always talk to them like, is it too stressful? Has it gone to the point where, there's no more balance anymore in your lives? We try to be cognizant of that.
Yes.
But, we're still enjoying, and we love, love, love celebrating client success stories like the one that you told me before you flew to Switzerland. I mean, I broadcasted that to the entire
Yes.
team, and they were one with you. They're so gleeful about the opportunity. So
Yeah.
I would say that hard work works, first of all, and then we just have such high respect for our clients. We never treat any client little or whatever
No.
just because they're paying this much. We never treat it that way. We always put passion into our work. I know I'm throwing a lot of cliches right now, but
No, but it's the truth. And I
it's
and I
really the
can
truth.
and I can
Yeah.
attest to all of that because as you said,
Thank
I
you.
live a chaotic life. And so I never feel the chaos that may
But
be going on.
honestly, Eleshia, one of our favorite clienteles or client base are women entrepreneurs. We love it when clients get referred to us and they are mothers or they are working women, but also doing this either as another revenue stream or it's a mission for them. But either way, we love working with women entrepreneurs because, it's just amazing how you guys make it work as well on your end. So we're always grateful that we're a part of that.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I'm so grateful that we were introduced because it's made my life so much easier. Like I always get complimented about the graphics and the audio and everything. And I'm like, it's not me, it's my editing team. They love what they do. And the fact that we have male people on the team who have listened to the podcast and have been really interested in some of the conversation and the education that I'm putting out there. It makes me feel good that we've found that kind of synchronicity. You all know before I know sometimes about what I should do, with regards to the edits and the graphics. And that's one of the parts that I don't take care of. You have free range of the graphics that you will do for the podcast because I trust in you. And so that to me is well worth the referral, and this is why it's really important that you build relationships with people. A lot of people think that it's not, but it's 100% really important that if you are working with external suppliers, that you build relationships. Like I see you guys as part of my family, like we're partners in this. When we have things that we celebrate together.
It almost feels like your family that's, abroad, like your
Right?
family from far away. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So there's been times, like you mentioned, when I was in Switzerland, where we've taken meetings at the airport. Like, do you remember we've done that a few times? We've taken meetings where I'm in the car going to pick up Alessandra because you fit into my lifestyle. And that's really important to me. And so everything that you just said about your values and your mission, I 100% agree with. And this is the whole reason why we continue to expand together. So your business has grown throughout that time. My business has grown throughout that time. And I can only see us expanding together more. And so I'm very excited about that. So Anne, let's talk a little bit about podcasting. What would you say to somebody who was just starting out and needed your services? I mean, what would you say would be like the first few questions that you would ask them to have in place?
Great question. One of the very first things, and I know that this is not only applicable to podcasting, but everything else with business and in life, but very important in podcasting as well is the why. Why are you doing your show? Like, I love what you said earlier, right off the bat. You know that financials or money is or business is secondary, but it's the primary focus is to share your journey, share your story, and then the rest of it will follow.
Yes.
So that is something that we do meet a few people who inquire from time to time. And I know right away if the why isn't clear yet to them. There's a high tendency that potential podcaster would, have pod fade, or they will just let their show die down.
Ooh,
And
pod fade.
head fade, yes.
I learned something new.
And they say that, if you have like 10 episodes or less, it's like your show will go into the podcast oblivion or.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, 10 versus 100. I mean, kudos to you.
Yes.
But
Thank you.
yes. Next would be, especially if you are either employed or you have your own business, how much of your time are you willing to invest on the podcast? Is this just like a passion project or a side thing that you're going to do only when you're available? Or is it a core part of your business or a core part of your mission that you are willing to put time and energy and resources on? Which leads me to my next point, wherein you really need to have a budget in mind. Because a lot of podcasters will try to do everything on their own, or if they have a VA, they'll try to have their VA do it. And some of the time it can work, but there's a lot of stress and you won't be able to see the results or the milestones that you wish you would have reached already. Think about how much of your resources, like a monthly retainer or a budget, would you like to put into it? Because having a team would really help you get into the flow.
Yes.
So that you'll only need to focus on the one thing that you actually wanted to do to begin with. Because I know that you're not getting into podcasting to edit your episode. I mean,
no.
Let's get real.
Yes. Like I said.
But you want to speak your mind, you want to share your journey. And by the way, we're going to link in the show notes all of your solos that talk about your journey, because I love your story about your mother, you're the carer for your brother, and then you and Darren and Alessandra. So we're going to link in the show notes all those pertinent episodes.
See, she's bossing me already. Like, see, I don't even have to say that at the end. Like, and saying we're really going to do this. You see, that's why you need help. Yes.
But yes, I'd say those are the main three things: your why, and then how invested are you going to be? And then with that investment also comes,
yes,
putting in the proper resources. And then everything else is going to be sorted out, like recording, equipment. You don't really have to go all out. I know that you have that episode as well where you talk about your tech items or your equipment. You don't have to break the bank to have that setup or whatnot. So
no. And I love that you mentioned that, because I think that's sometimes one of the reasons why people don't do it, right? And at the beginning, I love equipment. So if you were to speak to Darren, I had the teleprompter. I've got, a professional camera. I was going to be a YouTuber with my professional camera and all of that stuff. And then that stopped me of doing all of that, because I started to get frightened about actually having to set everything up, because I am not an expert in that. So knowing that all I needed was a mic and my laptop and a way to record, and that I could then set it all up and record and send it on to you all, that really helped me to be like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And I mean, sometimes, like Anne said, sometimes I'm up against the wire, right? Sometimes I'm like, I haven't recorded my intro or outro like the day before the episode goes live. And just like magic, it goes live because you're in the background doing your things. But I really needed to say that because it is a process. like Anne said, podcasting takes up a lot of time. You have to know this at the beginning and know that you are fully invested, but you also need a team that is fully invested in your why as well. And I really get that from you all. You have been invested from the beginning, from the absolute beginning. So I 100% appreciate that. Have you got any other tips that you would like to share with the listeners if they're thinking about going into podcasting?
Yes. So before the tip, I just wanted to respond to something that you said about YouTube, where you said that you almost did it. Actually, that is also what I love about podcasting is there's a lower barrier to entry because with YouTube, there's like a lot of things, the bells and whistles. I need like the background lighting. I need to practice myself. Am I even camera ready? By the way, the episode with Sarah Michelle,
Yes.
let's link that as well.
Yes.
But with podcasting, it's really about, just to compare with singing, it's the song in your heart. So with podcasting, it's the message and the voice, your story, your why. As I said, that's why the why is super important because I think that will carry you on to, take that leap and launch your show.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
So
that.
some tips, I guess, before launching or even thinking of launching, but like starting with the journey of coming up with what your show is gonna be about, I'd say you should at least be a podcast listener, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I mean, if you're not a podcast listener, it might be difficult for you to formulate or, to come up with a show. So it must be something that you have been doing organically even before you have your own show.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say scribble down like 6 to 8 topics. And then also people in your network that you think would be a great fit to interview.
Yeah.
Right. And then, as I said, having in your mind what the path will be, like what are the next steps will be, like am I gonna get a team, am I just gonna get an intern, am I going to let my VA do it? It's okay actually, as long as you get the help you need. It doesn't have to be a production company right away. It could even be if you have a cousin or a sister or like a nephew or niece who's a bit techie and can help you out. That's great as well, but just get the help that you need because it would be a shame to not even let your show see the daylight. That right?
Yes.
Just because you didn't get the help that you need. So I'd say that's the best tip that I could give.
Yeah, it's a very good tip because I think there's a lot of people who have a lot to say. And I mean, sometimes they say, I've been reading recently that people have been saying the podcasting world is saturated, but people have got things to say. It's just like TV, right? And so say it, don't listen, say it, because you never know who is listening. You never know who needs to hear your message, your journey, your tips, your tricks, your experiences. You just don't know who you're going to touch. And so I'm all for it. Can I tell you something though? I stopped listening to podcasts once I'm recording because sometimes I feel like if I listen to other people's podcasts, then I take on what they're saying, and I want everything that I'm saying on my podcast to be truly from my experience and so forth. So when I'm not in recording mode, then I go back and I listen. But when I'm in that process of recording, I'm like, okay, I need to just be in the zone of my experiences and my guests' experiences. But one thing that really helped me also is being honest and vulnerable and having gratitude. And that's one of the reasons why because it was a celebration, we ended up on the Gold Digger show with Team Dklutr, right? Yes.
Link.
The link will be in the episode. Yeah.
But that was such a great episode. Yeah.
Right. But also we celebrated that so hard because I was this newbie. But I was grateful for, having her course, but recognizing that I needed a production team, but also just going back and saying, thank you so much. I learned so much from you, even though I was already in the mix of it all. And that's helped me as well. So another thing that we will be doing more of is me guesting.
Yes. And yes, you hear that, Mean?
And the team have been on me for over a year to pitch myself out there more. And you've got to do things when you're ready, right? And
Yes.
so I believe last year was all about just reconnecting with myself and also making some really key decisions in my life and my lifestyle in order for me to build my foundations and my systems at the beginning of this year. And now this is the year that Alessandra, my heartbeat goes to school. And so my business model will change a little bit further and I'll be scaling more. I can't wait for this. I cannot wait for us to be in the moment together to make those big changes and to skyrocket because, yeah, this journey has been amazing. I am so thankful for you and the team. I'm so thankful for all of the listeners and my friends and my family who have been really just cheerleading me on this journey. I sometimes feel like from fruition to actually real life, it's a dream, and it's not, it's reality. We made this happen.
We made this happen and you are at the forefront of it.
Yeah, but you're well and truly behind me, sending me those WhatsApps, reminding me that I need to do things, giving me ideas of, what we should talk about or reels of what you want to see. And so, like I said, this is truly a partnership and I am so, so grateful. I'm grateful that you took the time out and to be on the Eleshia Show, the show that you published. Right?
Yes. Before we end, may I just, and I just felt called to do it. Before we end, may I turn the table and ask you a question that I've been dying to ask?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So if you're going to look back on your own journey, what would you say would be the top two things that you love the most about having your own podcast, The Eleshia Show?
Oh my goodness, that is such a good question. So, from a recovering control freak, I love the fact that I am in control of my own destiny. And I truly feel that from the bottom of my heart that this podcast has given me a platform to be able to share who Eleshia truly is and, what she stands for, what she believes in, who she wants to be. And also the fact, and I'm going to get emotional, but the fact that I get to leave a legacy behind. The podcast episodes are going to be out there forever. That's really important to me because one of my biggest regrets is that I can't hear my mum's voice again. Right? And my mum wasn't big on taking pictures. She wasn't big on taking videos and so forth. And so one of the things that was really important to me was that if anything happened or when it does happen, that I can still be heard. I can still be seen, right? And so that was really important to me. And also to be able to give a platform to other women business owners that are building their businesses and their brands as well. That was really important. And to be able to share topics and to share vulnerability about some of the conversations that people really don't want to have as business owners, to be able to say, yeah, I'm going through that, I'm going through perimenopause. I'm going through infertility. I am a mother. I am a carer to an autistic brother. To be able to say all of those things without shame, that was really important to me. Oh my gosh. Thank you for that question. I know.
Because and I don't even have a child, though, but just the thought of Alessandra turning 18 and then listening back to this podcast. So that's like, how old is she now?
She's 4.
Yeah. 4, right? So 14 years down the road, if she plays this episode on, I don't know what the streaming apps are by then, like, do we even have Spotify by then? Yeah. But she's gonna have this and
yeah, right.
The legacy part, I never even thought about that. I always tell clients about the beauty of podcasting is you put out positive and valuable content. So I'm coming from the value adding
Yes.
perspective, because
Yes.
there's so much content out there that,
Yes.
come on, let's get real. It's not,
Yes.
people call themselves thought leaders, but are they really thought leaders?
Are they really? Exactly.
Are they really? But the legacy part, that just hit me.
Yeah.
Because my parents are also aging, we're all gonna be gone from this world, but to be
Yeah.
able to leave a positive message that people will benefit from.
Yeah.
Wow. What a way to end this interview.
Right. Before we go, dear Anne, can you tell the listeners where they can find your services?
You can go to our website. It's teamdklutr.com. So TEAM and then DKLUTR. We actually just played with the spelling of declutter, but as I said, because that's what we try or we aim to do for our clients, we help our clients declutter their workflow. And I also, because I mentioned the word team, I just want to also shout out to the rest of my team members, aside from the 3 that I already mentioned earlier, but to Maine and Raiden, who's going to be producing the show, as well as Casey, Richard, and then we have two newbies. Actually, we have younglings now. Great.
Yes. We love the younglings.
Luigi.
They keep us together.
Yes. To Luigi and Clary, thank you so much for all your hard work. And yes, on behalf of the team, Eleshia, thank you so much. This is such an honor to be in your 100th episode. Thank you so much.
Right. I think it's just a lovely way to really celebrate this with the team who actually makes this happen on a week-to-week basis. If it wasn't for you and the team, then this wouldn't be so seamless. And so I want to thank you and the team. You know, I love you all for doing this for me. Yes.
Yes. Thank you, team.
Thank you, team. Okay, listeners, thank you so much for joining us on our 100th episode. I am so excited that you were here. And also, please go ahead and share, like, and leave a review. Anne's always telling me, please tell the listeners to leave reviews. It helps. It helps. So please leave me a review and tell your friends about The Eleshia Show. Okay, take care for now. See you next week. Bye.